I actually stand it, honestly, if I can stand it, I'll stand it. I'll play.
Let's call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, at 7 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting, so we'll be sure to try and look at people with questions or something to say. Our first order of business, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, move to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Good. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions. Okay. I move to approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes for August 4th. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the meeting minutes? All right. Two abstentions? Yeah. So it's 3-0-2. Thank you. Audience of citizens. Yes?
Good evening. My name is Barrington, Greenwood Drive, here in Town of Columbia. Dear members of the Board of Selectmen, Traffic Safety Committee, and Town Administrator, I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Coalition of People to Protect Our Civil Rights. We have 3 points of suggestion from the copy for you. First, we must address the massive amount of confusion at the town meetings. This is in regards to the voting procedure at the meeting on Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. As residents of Columbia, we are reaching out to request a formal review of the recent ballot process. The second point would be a recognition by the majority of residents that speed and reckless driving are issues, but that we hold a variety of ideas as to the solutions. The residents who feel this way are not an insignificant group, but a nonpartisan, diverse set of voters who came out in large numbers to make suggestions and voice their concerns. The people want and have articulated common sense, legal solutions that respect our due process, privacy, and make the situation better, not worse. The majority of people believe solutions exist, but they do not include speed cameras and camera devices. Multiple ideas were suggested, such as speed humps, removable speed humps, and narrowing the roads with painted lines. Although it has been argued that speed humps are not doable, research says otherwise. Towns in our neighboring state of Massachusetts, in the Berkshire Mountain region, where weather tends to be more extreme, use speed humps to slow traffic. In our own state of Connecticut, towns like Hartford, East Haven, Hamden, Wilton, Norwalk, Plainville, and Mansfield have implemented physical traffic calming measures utilized on neighborhood streets to reduce reckless driving. Our third and final point would be how many residents did not know about the Traffic Safety Committee. To many, what was even more concerning was to learn town employees who are not residents or voting members making recommendations to the Board of Selectmen. This appears to be a violation of Section 7.4 of our charter. Non-residents and town employees are important participants in any committee or commission, but they should be there in an advisory capacity only and not admitted as voting members. After listening to the majority of the residents who were opposed to traffic cameras and were frustrated with the lack of transparency, we would like to suggest that you reorganize the Traffic Safety Committee. This should also include the time of day the committee meets. Community involvement is imperative to reduce the perception of a lack of transparency. Remember, the traffic camera companies that are proposing we buy their product are really only interested in profit. Their agenda is to make money. They do not care how it impacts the citizens of our town, which not only involves erosion of our residents' civil liberties involving the 4th and 14th Amendment, but it will reduce the warmth and charm of Columbia. It will also expose us to potential litigation down the road. We sincerely appreciate your commitment to our town and hope you heard the people speak on August 12th, 2026. Respectfully submitted from the Coalition to Protect Our Civil Rights, read to you by Mary Faring.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
Is this public comment? Sorry, I can't remember.
Yes.
I'm Kim Missile. I have a
Address, please.
5 years now. I have several comments to the budget. 27, 28. Reflecting back on this past budget process, I would love to see the board of selectmen to make the referendum a permanent part of the vote on the budget process as opposed to this town meeting. Town meeting is specific time and date, basically minutes, who has access or who has the ability to vote. The second, in terms of reductions, as the referendum addressed along, a good amount of the reductions came from capital budget deferrals, basically. And I'm concerned that that's just deferring to a later date. And I think that going forward, we should be looking at whether or not there are ways to achieve percent reductions for various departments, probably excluding fire protection and law enforcement, but everybody else. Last but not least, several times during the budget process, there were discussions in terms of being stuck with, and I think what's really simply being stuck with the insurance contracts and the salary agreements for teachers. You're stuck with them only to the extent that you accept them. And right now, as I understand it, the teacher contract is up for negotiation along with the other contracts for that. Board of Selectmen has the ability to reject that if it should come to something like a 7.5% increase, which is what I believe they were looking for salary-wise in the April budget presentation for the board then. And they ought to do that. They ought to not be in a position 2 years from now where they're saying that they're stuck with those.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anybody online, Mo?
Just Mr. Mark, but she's not raising her hand.
Seeing no more, thank you. We will proceed to new business. I move to allow public solicitation at our transfer station through a written permission slip, including a hold harmless clause and a designated location for the safety of solicitors and residents using the transfer station. So nobody understood or liked it or whatever when I moved people away from in front of the dumpsters where we have had accidents before and put them off to a different location. Safety or not, believe it or not, whatever, it's over. But at that point, I told Mark Walter that find an area where it's safe, people out of the way, to be able to campaign, sell tickets, say hello, whatever. Petitioning.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, okay, petitioning. And so, we, and Mark, myself, and talking with Beth, we thought we would, had a good location. And I will say that when Barrington went down there and was getting signatures, she was in the designated location area. Other people either knew it or didn't know it. I don't know what was in their head. I can tell by their action, whatever, but I said, okay, the word's not gotten out to people. I reiterated again to Mr. Walter. I thought it got down to the director of the transfer station, Beth Lunt. And I went down there and the lions were set up right there. And when I asked the person who was down there working, he said, I don't know. They said they've been here forever. That's where they set up. I said, well, you're directed to ask them to not set up there, set up over in a different area. He said, well, I'll talk to Beth about that. And I go, well, if you don't know, I'm kind of in the line of Beth's boss. So I think she's been notified. And then I said, he goes, well, just have Mark Walter tell her and she can tell me. And I said, well, I think I'm Mark's kind of boss too. So at that point, either he didn't know me or whatever. It was the end of the raffle, pretty close to it. So that was a Saturday, first thing Monday morning, I said to Mark, we're going to have a designated area where people can get petition signatures, sell raffle tickets, Girl Scout cookies, whatever it is. It's a dangerous spot in front of the dumpsters. You take your foot slips off the brake. You think you're braking. People back into each other down there all the time. So I think we need to have a designated spot, permission with a form and a hold harmless clause for allowing people down there.
I have issue with wording it like a permission slip. I have no issue with having designated areas that people can be in for the safety of the community. But I think calling it a permission slip might be a slippery slope because who are you granting permission to and who are you not?
Okay, that's a good comment. I already changed one word in here, where it wouldn't be so wishy-washy. I said designated location, and Mark had a different term. I can't even remember what it was. So,
I think as long as someone's willing to sign off on the liability piece and understand where they can stand, it's not really a permission thing as much as you fill out the form.
Register or something.
Just so we know who's there.
how about just a information stuff?
Have we run this by the town attorney?
No, because we haven't actually, we wanted to get the board's thoughts and then I could create the actual permission document.
I'd like to see it go wide to make sure that we're not trampling anybody's rights.
There are ordinances in other towns, because when I saw this in the agenda, I started to research. I know there are ordinances when you're on town property. If it's something that could obstruct the flow of traffic and you're planning it in advance, you can legally have an ordinance to say that this is the area you're allowed to go in on that town property, just so someone can get that car. Yeah,
Safety.
yeah. But if it's something like in the moment, you can't restrict that free speech. So, but if it's someone going down to sell raffle tickets or sign a petition, yeah. Because as soon as I saw it on there, that was the first thing that came to my mind too. Is like we don't want to restrict people on public property that they're paying taxpayer money for, but we do need to make sure no one gets run over by it.
Also, you also want to make sure that it's organized so that people know. We have three groups who want to be there. I haven't seen the space. Maybe it's huge, maybe it's little. But you want to have some organization so that you have 100 people there. That might not be appropriate. So you have to
That you can't restrict though, I would imagine that's gonna be something that a lawyer would say, like, you can't say one group can be there, and the other two can't.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying some kind of organization because if there's so many people there, then it's unsafe. Nobody will be able to be there. You can't have people who run over. I mean, it's a functioning place it's a landfill. So there has to be some control over the situation. I mean, what the, you know, give it to the attorney and do it appropriately, that's all. Totally agree with what you're saying, but there's the other side of it too. I don't think we're trying to stop people from doing stuff. The issue here is safety.
So you're saying to hang out by the swamp area? Is that the recommendation?
There's two areas, the swap area or over by where, the air conditioners and stuff like that. But between the entrance and that area is a large area. Public Works said they would, paint it off. And we would get a sandwich board to allow people to say, sign the referendum, sign the petition over here, buy your
Organize it.
Lions tickets over here, that type of thing.
I mean, I've done campaigning at the dump, I don't know, 20 years. And it is, I always thought it was dangerous because cars, there's, you know, people just back out and don't look. And I occasionally they are running, backing into people and more people walking around. It's dangerous. I can remember times when they wouldn't let us be by the dumpsters and we had to be in that grassy area. They wouldn't let us do it. And then that kind of changed. I think, I don't know, different board of selectmen, just kind of changed. So I would support moving it from where it was, definitely. I think it would make it safer.
So I think it's important to get the input of the people who are working down there. You know, and I know that it's like boss of talking about, yeah, because I would talk to the people that are there, because they know better than anyone what the safest areas
Yeah.
would be. I think that we're kind of like throwing ideas on where people should be positioned, but like listening to the people that are there daily.
Traffic regulation, it's enough, you know, and people just kind of back up. Well, it's not safe. I'm always leery when I'm backing up over there. Nobody in back of me in the cars.
So, at this time, I guess I will rescind my motion. I would ask that you, well, I'll make a motion that we allow Mark Walter to work with the town attorney and get solicitation from Department of Public Works personnel
Yeah. I think that's
and those who work there to refine a designated area and how they're able to use it and use it safely.
I'll work with Kerma as well,
Yeah.
run it by insurance.
Yeah, be restricted on.
All being in favor of that?
Yeah, I think
Aye.
it's great.
Thank you.
There's some message in the chat.
That will read it during, audience of citizen at the end. Thank you. Okay, the lake. So I move to approve the application to place an 8x8 foot raft at 46 Adoni Road. And upon the recommendation set forth and subject to conditions set by LMAC. I looked at this, the raft. There's only one condition. They have enough room to be able to put that there, enough frontage. The raft must be placed no further than 65 feet from shore on center line of the property, 65 feet with any type of drag. It can't go beyond 100 feet, and they like it to be 65 to 75.
Michael Scalise is here if anybody has questions from representing LMAC.
Does anybody have questions?
The photo here, that representative with the roof in the back.
You want to see it, Mike?
Yeah.
It looks like it's a photo of one that they had previously had approved out there.
You know, they had purchased this raft from another resident town and towed it over there, so it never left the lake. So this is the raft, it's in place.
But is it at the previous owner's dock or the new owner's?
New owner's dock.
Okay.
So it's already set, we're just approving its location?
I'm sorry,
It's already set, we're just approving its location?
correct.
Any other questions? All those in favor for approval? Aye. Opposed? None. Abstentions? None. Thank you. Town administrator's report.
Just wanted to, I included a letter of delay for the school year by 1 week from the superintendent. The HVAC project has been delayed due to the fact that the DOAS units and the curbing on the roof have to be put in by cranes and they have to be done while students aren't there and the rains, and there's lots of excuses as to why they're delayed. But it required 1 more week, and that'll be 3 half days. I think it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So you can read for more information from the superintendent. Also, the update I'm going to be putting together for distribution to the whole town as we drive down to right now, we've got about 4 major projects that are going to need to be bonded. That's the Pine Street culvert, the Thompson Hill culvert, repairs to the Village Hill Bridge, and repairs to our dam spillway. I'm to the point where I'm almost ready to put or to receive solicitation and quotes, so I know how much the actual costs are. Then I'll go out for a town meeting to authorize the bonding. We have $890,000 in a grant for Pine Street of the estimated $1,780,000 it'll cost, and we have a grant for $1,440,000 on Thompson Hill culvert out of the estimated $1,800,000 it'll cost. So once I put all these together, we'll work with bond counsel. I come up with the principal and interest and estimated timing of all this. I can bring all that information back to the Board of Selectmen, and you can decide next steps in going forward. And then I think I have one other. That was it, Steve.
We have no transfers. We have some refunds.
You have correspondence.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that. Yeah, there's some correspondence. Connecticut State Police report for July. And the Romantic Chronicle on the cameras.
And then one more came in just to make your agenda. Jacqueline Cook expressing her disappointments and frustration regarding decisions to delay the start of school, addressing the superintendent's letter. And one other came in from John Sidovazensky, a letter to the editor. I didn't get the letter to the editor from the Chronicle. I don't think it was published yet. But he stated he sent a letter to the editor voicing his concerns that not installing speed cameras on the town.
So we have refunds. I move to approve refunds representing a total of $70.48 to the Orettes and the Spinelli. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, opposed, thank you. Bills. I move to approve the payment of bills as presented totaling $90,892.22, consisting of 25-26 emergency, 25-26 regular, credit card and paychecks.
The what?
Give me from one thing. Yeah.
First page,
Yeah.
first entry. Right there.
Lease.
Beg to farm gas late fee. I don't know what that is. I'll find out and get back to you. Judy.
This seems weird.
Any other questions? All those approve paying bills? Aye. Opposed, none, thank you. Audience of city.
Yeah.
All right, yes, sir, I got his leaving.
I'm not reading it. Daniel Weiner, 10 Hilltop Lane. I think first and foremost, I want to address the proposed permission process or whatever we're gonna call it, for activities of transportation. I think really the core of the issue is whether the town can establish reasonable, isn't really about the safety rules, it's actually whether rules are mutually and consistently applied to citizens. So the Constitution, First Amendment, as most of us should be familiar with, allows us to have free speech. And then there's a previous Connecticut Supreme Court ruling, Layton versus Greenwich, which protects petitioning, basically as a First Amendment right, cannot be treated any differently than someone standing in the corner and voicing, their opinion on any matter. The concern I have, I think, is basically around the two petitions that recently were circulated around town, how the individuals collecting signatures were redirected to other locations, creating an unnecessary burden to collect signatures. Well, if we look at the town policies or lack thereof, and kind of try to discover and ask questions about how these decisions are applied, political parties, people running campaigns, selling flags, whatever it may be, have been allowed to petition in that spot, whether it's the spot by the swap shop or, near the dumpsters. That's really not my concern. My concern is, the citizens of Columbia have all signed forms. It's a lot easier for people to go write their signature for something they're concerned about than open their wallets, for donations, to pay their taxes, whatever they might choose to do. And I think really the question that we all should be asking ourselves in this situation is, one, how are these decisions come to in the past? And then two, how moving forward can decisions be made to treat everyone equal in these situations so that people participating and trying to participate in democracy, creating transparency into decision making in town, can actually do so in a manner that doesn't create an unnecessary burden for people. Specifically, if we look at the budget piece in particular and the petition related to that, directing people to go cross one of the busiest streets in town and go outside, go off town property to come back on town property a couple hundred feet later is probably more dangerous than collecting them on site. And I think in, the traffic camera situation as well, we're allowed to talk about it on site, but not collect a pen strike that takes about 10 seconds. I'm having trouble sort of understanding the reason behind that. So moving forward, we just appreciate if, one, there was a town use policy, not so much a permission slip, and two, the rules equally would apply to everyone.
Yeah, I like town use policy. It could be a good compliment.
Yes,
Marion Farrington, suggestion and two questions. You're talking about the safety of the petitioners or clubs selling tickets, et cetera. How about the safety of the people? You said it yourself, Judy, people walking back and forth, people backing up and driving. Maybe we need to reevaluate the entire way transportation trash is dropped off. If it's unsafe for someone to stand there, then why is it safe for someone to walk back and forth, being moving targets also? So I think that needs to be looked at. The second, one of my questions is, and you may not know, Laurel Lane, are they doing some drain work up there? Grates,
Yes,
they are. Could you tell me what they're doing?
you're replacing them.
They're replacing. And then, the Connecticut State Police Report. You have it there. How many tickets were issued?
I think it said 17 stops.
17 stops.
It doesn't define tickets.
So
Defines,
I know that about 16 years ago, it was public knowledge. I don't know what changed. The first selectman said at the last meeting that the state of Connecticut would count him. And
We actually talked to, Cooper Allen today.
okay. And he did stop someone on 87.
yes.
And he says he doesn't keep a running tally. He said if you needed, you would have called the troop.
Yes, if there's a way to get information from the state police, you have to go through Middletown, through Country Club Road and request, like any citizen would request information on, let's say you were in an accident, you wanted your accident report, you'd have to request it through Middletown.
So would the traffic committee, safety committee not have been interested in that information? Thought that, was that information ever shared with them on how to get it?
I'd be happy to share that with them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Jennifer on 66. Wouldn't this be something though that would be town knowledge that you guys should get a report, the town should get a report if you're paying a trooper with a resident state trooper? Isn't it a report that you would want to have every month of what he's doing, where he is, what's going on with him? You're paying him? I know.
we get a report every month.
That's our report.
Oh,
This is our
so you're
report.
saying you don't.
No, we do. 17 stops.
But
They
you-
don't define ticket versus stop. 17 people got pulled over.
Okay, but that's what my question is. Wouldn't you as an employer want to know if he gave a ticket, if he gave a warning, if he, what he's doing? If you're his employer, I know if I was employing him, I would want to know what he's doing with his 8 hours worth of time on my dime. Because if I go through Country Club Lane, I'm gonna be like a regular resident. I'm gonna have to pay for the reports. I'm gonna have to do all of these different things and steps, and it's gonna take me 6 months to get these reports when I'm doing it for the town, for the committee.
I asked Mark Walter to put a call in, asked him today after meeting with the trooper, put a call in to troop pay and find out exactly.
Yeah, because there are certain things they can tell us, but
The other thing is with Trooper Allen, as an employer, which we're not an employer of Trooper Allen, we're not. You have to have some trust in your person who works with you. So when people tell me they were stopped by him, when he tells me he makes stops, he uses his own discretion. You know, the state police has already reprimanded me. I cannot tell them what to do. I cannot tell them to give tickets instead of warnings. They have their own minds. He does his job. I think he does a great job.
I
So-
absolutely do as well. I'm not arguing that point with you. My faith in you right now is out the window. You need to reprove to me that you're doing something for this town. I'm sorry, I have no faith in you after the last meeting. And so that's why I'm coming to you and asking you if you know or if you don't understand what's going on. We need to have a little bit more clarification because I think the traffic and transportation committee does need to know these things. If we are going to try to work with the community and try to figure out what to do about this speeding, what's going on, and how to get it down. We need help with the trooper who's not coming to the meetings. We need his insight. We need to know what he's doing, where he's sitting. Is he working with Bolton and Andover now? Is that all coming to fruition?
Thank you.
you want me to add anything?
No.
Okay.
Well, just, you know, there's the chat stuff.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
somebody,
Judy Newman, Selectmen, for a question. Now, you said you would go, we should go to Middletown to get that information, but the police is Trooper K, and that's in Colchester, right? So do you still go to Middletown for the information?
Their FOIA requests go through their Middletown.
Okay, that was one. And another one was, I've been at the dump. This is about the safety of people. Right now, it's a big hot mess. That's what it is. You drive in to deliver your garbage and dump it and stuff. But people would take some of their stuff and walk over to the shack or where the oil is left or whatever. They'll walk. So you got people walking over there. But then you also have some people that will deliver their garbage, drive over there, go to the shack, do whatever they have to do, and then drive out. So you got people coming in this way, going out this way, driving all around. So I think to make it a safe area, wherever you're gonna set it up, there has to be like a better flow of traffic, like in and out, because I would be afraid that this would happen, that people would see that there's, say, a petition being signed over near the shack there. And so they're gonna do their garbage, they're gonna stay parked there and walk over and sign the petition. So they're gonna be holding up the garbage run, and people are gonna be walking back and forth between the cars and everything. So that's just a suggestion of looking at the whole flow of how everything's gonna work out there.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this looks like they're from a further comment that is budget related and perhaps teacher negotiating contract related. I think that we should be looking at the insurance costs, because certainly insurance can separate incredibly across the country. It's true in Columbia through this most recent project process. My understanding is that the town side and the Board of Ed side basically participate in the same. I don't know if that is one of what's being negotiated right now in the teacher contract. But it certainly seems like they should be looking at moving back to an HSA, which I understand the town and the Board of Ed at one point. That's what many employers are doing as a way to manage healthcare premium costs. So it's a
Authorizing.
question in terms of how does the upcoming teacher or the actual ongoing teacher negotiation for their contract tied to the timing of the insurance.
We don't negotiate our insurance at the same time they negotiate theirs.
we do. And it's something we'll look at.
Is that ongoing now, though, as part of this contract negotiation?
I can't speak for the teachers.
That's completely by the Board of Education. We have no say over that initial process.
We're not,
So, yeah.
So I guess I'm not clear on whether it's really a joint process, because my impression, again, from the budget process was that it is handled jointly between Board of Ed and Board of Select.
it's a combination. If we're going to go out for insurance, the town and the Board of Ed will unite together because we're such a small group. But we created one of the first regional consortium of towns, but that fell apart. When our HSA costs were going so high, we became a 600 employee group instead of our little 100. So when that fell apart, our costs were continuing to go up. We had to join the state plan in order to get them under control. But we do use our insurance advisor to look at, are things changing? Are there new products that could help us? But we have not found something better than the state plan at the moment.
Thank you. Yes.
You said that, school is gonna be delayed 3 half days. Is there, a plan when they're gonna make up that time or anything like that, or is there?
I think
They're actually losing what, 1 or 2
I think
days?
it's only one day they're losing.
Half days are included in the 180, and the 1 day the superintendent I heard said it's built into the school year anyway,
Oh.
so they don't think the 1 day full will impact their schedule.
Must be a lot. Maybe.
Right. But we can't. We had too big a winter last year. It'll be very mild this year.
Better.
Those numbers.
Can I just ask Mark that you read the public comments, because comments that show up in the text don't go on public record if you don't read them out loud.
Oh,
I know you're responding to people. But
So it was asked, are we going to create a same process to hold harmless for the town green? I said, we'll consider any space where people assemble. If I get back to you with some policy ideas. And
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what was said.
Yeah, I was trying to read, if you put the thing up, I can read it out loud. You want to just hit,
Who-
So,
whoever
yeah.
first of all.
Kristen Locke, that says, will you be creating the same process and hold harmless for the town green? Seems it should be, you just scrolled down on me. Seems it should be the same for all public spaces. The Constitution of Connecticut, Section 16, the citizens have a right in a peaceful manner to assemble for the common good and to apply those invested with powers of government for redress of grievances or other address or remonstrance. Yeah.
and then I said, yes, I could include normal places of assembly.
Is that something? I mean, we have the dump is one people seem to gravitate, and green, I mean, I don't know, that's the only two places.
The only two places I'm aware of.
I think of our park too.
How about the senior center? Has that ever been used?
Yes. And I have also stood on the front lawn of the town hall,
That'd be the green.
right here.
Yeah, this is all the town green.
Yeah.
We consider it the campus.
And I gave you permission from the first selectman.
I mean, that also comes down, and again, I think this is something, I think you made a good point. We need to be checking with the lawyer on this, but when we talk about the green, the concern that's come up from the town, the protesting on the green, and I'm all for people having love and free speech. But the concern was that there's gonna be an accident caused by the location that they're currently in, or that they're too close to the road, or that there's, so I think that's something maybe when we check with the lawyer on the dump, maybe look at like what we're talking about in general. I don't want to restrict people's free speech, but I also don't want them getting hit by a car. So, I mean, free speech is the priority, but if we're going to be looking, there is a point to say that if you're looking at one place, we should probably be looking at general safety on public property.
Thank you. Seeing no more. Board member comments?
I'd like to comment. I was very disheartened by the acrimonious town meeting last week. Was disappointed that it got to a level where it got personal attacks on people, personal attacks on town officials, personal attacks on employees of the town. And I was really just disappointed. I was good, and I thank God I didn't do it, but I was going to bring my 13-year-old granddaughter to watch a town meeting, and I was just shocked at the pettiness that occurred there. And I really am disappointed in the way it was conducted. I was shocked at some of the behavior there. People videotaping town officials from the town clerk's office counting ballots, like for some reason they're going to cheat on this. Petty complaints about whether we had a pen or a pencil there. I was just really, really disappointed, and it was like a blood sport. And I hope in the future people can conduct themselves simply. I come from a situation where I go to trial. And you'll fight on both sides very strongly for your side of the case. And it's over. You go over and you shake hands with each other, and you congratulate the winner, and that's it. And you move on your way. And it's not personal, but the behavior there made everything personal. I'm very shocked by it, and I'm very disappointed in the way it was conducted.
I agree with Bill. I was embarrassed to say I went to Columbia when I saw how negative. If neighbors were attacking neighbors. People have a right to their opinion, a difference of opinion. I mean, that's a given. as I see it, but people don't have a right to be disrespectful. It doesn't make it any stronger. Respond to the emotion as opposed to the words. I thought it was awful.
There's some guards in Wisconsin.
This has nothing to do with the cameras. Yeah, but I've had mixed feelings about that from the start. It had to do with how people were disrespectful.
So I'm gonna say, Daniel in the back. Daniel has been corresponding with the town office here. He even came in and talked with us. He was looking for some information. And I appreciate the fact that he sent in his concern. He asked for specifics. When it was unclear about how we were gonna get it or what he was really looking for, he came in and explained it. And then in the end, he said, if I can help, please let me know. If I can help draw something up, please let me know. We don't get it right all the time. Apparently, we don't get it right any of the time to some. But the bottom line is, that's what we need. Everybody, there's a lot of complaining out there. But he offered to truly help. So I appreciate that.
And I agree, maybe we gotta do things differently. But it doesn't help when people are just causing a lot of, just getting angry. We can discuss it, that's the way we should do it. We process things, we change things.
Okay, that's it. We have no executive session at this time. I move to adjourn. All those in favor?